Welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Words could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play as karmic themes to help you understand why you are attracting that person into your life. What is the whole spiritual significance? How can we shape shift the energy if there's many different realities that play out at one time? What is the best level of consciousness that we can have to actually manifest what we want to manifest? And why would we be manifesting a person that comes into our life that triggers us, that treats us mean, that feels like home, but then, gives us mixed messages? Like, we want to know those things because we wind up getting stuck in ruminating, really, ruminating why this person does that, and it makes us feel a certain way and it really lowers our vibration. So if we're connected to people that do that, we begin to see that negative energy bleed into other areas of our life. So again, we always want to integrate the spiritual lesson so that we can stop karmic looping. Karmic looping is you get out of a karmic situation. It's like a karmic theme that keeps you in a place of disempowerment or any really emotion that's connected to fear, fear-based consciousness. And you wind up continuing to live. You get out of the situation, you get back into another situation. The same exact karmic theme, just different people. You move, same thing happens. And the reason why is because you bring yourself with you. People that are in AA tend to like try to change their life. They try to move, and the same thing happens. It's called pulling a geographical because, like I said, you can't like leave yourself behind. There's certain habits and behaviorisms that we have again, due to experiences that we live. So when you integrate the spiritual lesson, you see your situation from a different perception. But to really fully heal, you have to embody the new consciousness. Because when we go through an experience that's traumatic, it creates an energetic template on the subconscious mind. It's like it's an energetic imprint that we know what that feels like. We remember the feeling. We remember the feeling more than we actually remember aspects of the situation because there's usually fragmentation due to, again, that trauma where we disassociate and detach from. But the emotion we remember, and it's again held within the body. Remember, your mind is what dictates. Your body is just your mind's faithful servant. Your mind is what runs the show, the subconscious mind. So, again, when we're detached, it doesn't mean that our body has not held on to the feeling and emotion. That's why embodying a new consciousness kind of erases that old template, that memory of that experience. And so again, it's how do you manifest through the thoughts that you think, the emotions that you have. So if you're detached and disassociated from an experience, but your body is holding on to that, energy, well, that's why you're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. It's you're subconsciously, again, attracting it. But to erase that energetic template is to fully learn. And to fully learn means not just learning in the mind, it's fully embodying the new consciousness because you are the alchemist of your life. You are the healer of your life. I can just help you heal as a master psychic healer. That's what a master psychic healer does, helps person heal. All right, now if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. Keep those comments coming. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's see what the word or words of the video are. It's magical realism. Magical realism is like when you see the magic in your everyday life. So that could be signs and synchronicities. It could be, um, you know, bumping into the same person over and over and over again would be like I said, like a synchronicity. Things could be serendipitous, but it's when you are tapped into the fantasy of everyday life. And that everyday life, um, when we can look at it through the energy of magical realism, it's easy for us to manifest. Because again, magical realism is trusting that the universe, is always supporting you. Again, by bringing you people, situations, experiences. How do you know? Through your intuition. How does your intuition be able to read through those serendipitous moments, through noticing the signs and the symbols, through believing. So again, there's only two energies, love and fear. So the energy of magical realism really is connected to the energy of love, connected to intuition, create creation. The creative mind is the psychic mind. So it's again being able to to see that, to read energy. And I feel like you're able to read energy. You're able to see things from a fantasy place. So again, everybody lives from their level of consciousness through what means something to them, their identity. When you have a strong sense of self and you know who you are and you like who you are, you tend to be a little bit more of a creative, more of someone that's going to be more expressive with who you are, almost like a colorful character per se. So I feel like people see you as this as well. So you can be like an artist. You could be a content creator. You could be someone that, again, just has a flair, someone that's very creative and colorful and just again coming from this very high vibration, but it's more from a very right brain perspective, like intuitive. And so I feel like this is an easy language for you to see, because when you're intuitive, you're able to see the different signs and the symbols, especially when you're goal oriented. Like, meaning, like, you have a passion and your focus is on your passion, and every day you're giving energy to your passion. Well, that's when the universe is conspiring to bring you these signs, these symbols, these synchronicities. So you're actually vibing at such a high vibration, but from the outsider, people don't really understand what you're doing. It's because it's not really a structured way. It's an unfoldment process, and it's an unfoldment process between just you and the universe. And you're able to, again, get the directions through your intuition, but again, it's through what's happening within your environment. It's, again, how the universe brings you everything what you need to create. And so there's like this higher wisdom, and this higher wisdom is that it's like, see, the sacred geometry is, again, that's the universal language, and the universal language is the energy of God. It's the energy of love. It's the energy of the universe. See, God created the universe, but it's just an extension of God's energy. So everything, when it's in accordance to that, and we know peace is a sign of love. Again, the dove is a sign of love. It's the sign of peace. It's a sign of, again, this energy. And so, and the woman on it is more intuition, that we know it's more feminine energy. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a woman. So know that. And the next card is a Christ consciousness. And Christ consciousness just is all the energies that are derived from unconditional love. It's not a religious card. However, we can associate it with Jesus because Jesus depicted that energy of unconditional love through the traits. So you're at a very high vibration and you're co-creating. So whatever's happening in your environment, it doesn't really seem to be affecting you, is what this is saying. So this is what's influencing the energy. So you have kind of feeling on an intuitive level, however, that you're in separation from someone, and you might be like, why isn't that person coming to me? The person wouldn't be coming to you because, again, there's no in for them. You know, if you're on a high vibration and you're like co-creating with the universe, you're not looking for this person. You're fulfilled. This person like only can really navigate, I feel like, if you are on a lower vibration. Now, what we can see is, what did this person do in the past? What are your triggers? Because again, you're fulfilling yourself right now. So you're not even thinking about this person, is what this is saying. Or if you are, it's very little. It's when you have some free time, you know, past lovers. So again, you feel like that there was still someone from this person's past. And the display of affection that they have towards their former partner triggers their insecurities. So that they had somebody that they were still connected to. But see, that's the thing. I'm not really feeling like they had all this love for their past person. It didn't work out. It was guilt. So what you see is that this person is trying to look like the good guy. They're also like trying to, repair in a way, and the repair not so that they go back together again, but I feel that they don't want to be looked at like they're a horrible person. So there's no real emotional connection. There's no expectation. It's not like this person's going to get back together with their ex. It's more or less like there's no commitment. We do have a history. I don't want you to look at me as if I'm an evil person. And I understand that person, that past person's still gonna think that they're an evil person. It's this illusion that they can fix how they are being seen, where that's the focus because of their guilt. And that's the problem. And with you, they don't feel that they have to really worry about what they show you because they know that you really do care, and and in their mind, they really are putting in effort, even if it's not a lot of effort. They're like, well, eventually, or whatever it is, or I don't owe you that loyalty because I haven't been in your life, but I was in that person's life. And when I was in their life, I wasn't committed, meaning I talked to other people. I didn't value the connection. The relationship's over now. No expectation. And if they have children, it's like, well, I feel guilty. I have to. I have to for my daughter, for my son, I have to. It's again, there's an obligation to do it, but it's not real. That's why this person doesn't do it with you, because that's not their natural way of being. They're only going to do it if they feel guilty and they kind of know that they screwed up. Where I feel like you just felt like this person kept you out, like almost like they didn't involve you in anything regarding their life. Like your opinion didn't really matter. That's the way that you felt. And I feel like it's because they never really closed the door on a past connection. That's really, what it is. They never they hadn't fully ended that connection. It was almost like they were waiting for that person to say, "It's okay. I don't hate you. It's okay. You can go on and be in a relationship." It's like, and that was never going to happen. It was never going to happen because the entire marriage or the entire time this person was with them, they just felt like they never gave 100%, and this person usually doesn't give 100%. They're avoidant, and you know that because of the way that they're dealing with you. So it's like, so what it is like you felt forgotten, invisible, and for just like you don't like really exist. And that's because they never closed the door, and also because this person is has the avoidant style. So understand, they knew if they got together with you, you're gonna start to really ask questions about, is that over? Are you out? Like, what's happening in that connection? Because no one wants to invest time with somebody that is still connected to somebody else. And so this person was trying to be really vague about that, not really 100% closing the door, waiting for the other person to like close the door, where it's like, of course, you're like, well, if you're not closing the door really fully on that relationship, you must still want to be with that person. Where it's almost like, I don't feel like this person really fully wanted to be with that person. I feel like it was more guilt. But nevertheless, you felt like, well, because you were so concerned about that person, you weren't concerned about what my needs were. And I feel like that's like, that's the issue. It's like, yeah, that this person, like kind of like lied, that they like, that they, that there was hidden intentions, and the hidden intention is that, well, I want to be with you, but I'm not really fully closing the door on that either, because I don't want to hurt that person. I have a kind of loyalty to that person. It's almost like that person's angry, but they don't really want me to like go. They don't really want like the divorce. They don't really want me to leave. They don't really want me to end this. And I don't really want to end it either because I'm comfortable. However, I don't want to really be with them right now because I would rather also be with you. So I'm going to take a little break from this person, but I'm not going to close the door. And then I'm going to try and meet you again. And this is what you felt. You were like, the hidden intention is that, like, so felt like this person's risky. And that's why they made the relationship really like turbulent, because there's, they were really still felt very guilty from their past connection, and they just would create a lot of conflicts and created a lot of like anger because this person wasn't being fair to you. It's almost like they were coming in and almost like expecting you to settle for the bare minimum, for the breadcrumbs, because they couldn't really give you everything. And it's also like they were still allowing that person that they were connected to, but not in a connection with at the moment, almost like put that person on the side and said that really never had any intention of leaving that person, thought that they could hook up with you and then go back to that person, is what I feel like. So they made the relationship like really difficult all the time. And it's like this, so this person has a lot of like love blocks. It's like they have fear of real intimacy, which is like we know trust at its basic foundation. So it's like this person like is connected to somebody that there's no more intimacy, there's no more trust, there's no more, passion, but there's a loyalty. It's a weird loyalty. It's almost like this person feels like guilty. I feel like I've invested a lot in you. I do love you, but I love you, but I'm not in love with you. I have a loyalty to you, but that I don't have to anyone else. And I don't feel like I can give to anyone else. However, you don't fulfill me. You don't like fulfill my desires. So this person again has a lot of love blocks and they're not honest. The secret is really them. So again, that they would get you into like an entanglement where they don't have any boundaries, that you would just be in this connection where this person hoping that you get all caught up in like the intense connection, fall head over heels, like move really fast, where the relationship would go really fast from like being so fulfilled with passion, but then it would just like, it wouldn't last, it wouldn't sustain. They would get their fill per se, it would be intense, but it would again burn out. And that's the thing. It's like this person just, you have to read between the lines, and the reading between the lines is that did not shut the door on a previous relationship. They don't want to end that relationship. They're fragmented. They have spiritual blocks. And those blocks, again, made it so that they ruin the intimacy in that connection. They don't trust. They lost the trust with that person. But there is love there, but it's held together through so much pain and so much hurt and through much, so it's almost like this person feels obligated. But then they think that they're gonna get their like fix from somewhere else. So that's the issue. You saw what it was. You're like, you want me to like be pretty much in an empty relationship, like that you're not offering me anything. And it's like, yeah, because this person has a fear of change. I feel like they are codependent. They are codependent with that person. And that's the issue. They feel inadequate. That's something that again that they grew up with, something that they inherited. So this person feels like it once you really got to know them that you would reject them. I feel like these two people put in a tremendous amount of effort and energy and money and time into each other. So I feel as if it's held together with through like again hate. There's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of betrayal, there's a lot of, so the relationship isn't even a good relationship. However, over a course of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is, on, off, I feel like there was a lot of on, off. Well, there was a lot of money that was, bought, you know, possibly someone put someone through education, paid a lot of money to fix their body, to fix their teeth, to fix whatever, poured a lot of time and energy into that connection, even though they were never loyal, even though that they did a lot of fucked up things to each other. And so again, there's all this, you know, um, real codependency between this past connection, that it's almost like this person's learned to live fragmented. Like, it's okay, almost like I'm going to go back to that person that I betrayed and wasn't there when I had the opportunity, but I'm going to feel have a loyalty to that person, and everybody else I'm going to betray. And that's really what it comes, because they won't have enough to give. The lack is that it's like they have had nothing to give, because understand this person that they're connected to knows that they're a cheater, knows that they talk to other people, knows it's again has pain around it, but the only thing that they can do is make it difficult for them to go out and really, spend a lot of money on that person. So what could they give you? A dinner? A lunch, like to a hotel room, like they're not going to be able to give you that much. And that's really why this person wants to come in, create a lot of passion, have you fall head over heels for them, like come in and then run back out, because there's this weird loyalty. They would feel guilty, and that's the thing. So they're forever will like project, because they don't really want to learn. But then to you, they're gonna act like a martyr, like, oh, I have to do this. They don't have to do anything for that ex. They choose to do it. And they choose to do it because it's comfortable. It's comfortable. And unfortunately, we've been getting a lot of that lately, that the person just wants to manipulate. That's just what they do. And they have a lot of burdens otherwise, because they're in a codependent connection. So any relationship that they're getting into, they're going to push the person into a place of disempowerment and, where you would be angry all the time. You would be angry all the time because they wouldn't really be able to like fully let you in. And I say that because we have belonging here. Like you would never really feel as if you belong. This person would be utilizing you almost to get their like emotional fulfillment. And remember, um, and when I say emotional fulfillment, I mean sexual fulfillment because emotionally they get from that person that even though that person isn't loving them passionately, they're acting like a friend. They've acted like a friend. They've acted like, even though they're angry, even though they're frustrated, it's almost like, okay, you're angry with me. Well, it's okay because I don't really want to fuck you anyway anymore. But I'm still going to rely on you to, go out and make money and come back and put the you know, food on the table again and pay for the kids or pay for me to get what I want done, and you're going to do whatever you want. So again, this double life where, you're like, wait a minute, I thought I was the only person that's like that. And it's like, no, this person like has been fragmented and they've been for a long time. And we know that because there's inner child wounds. So it's just that. It's that this person, there is a laziness to not have to stand up and do what they should do to get out of that connection. Because no, it should be in a fragmented relationship where it's like, well, for you, I'm gonna be with you and I'm gonna treat you as a mommy or a daddy. And I'm gonna love you and I'm gonna nurture you and I feel responsible for you. But for sex and for my grown-up time, I'm gonna hang out with this person. No one wants that. It's like this person has abandonment issues. They have issues of of their own. And so it's again, that's why they want to stay connected to somebody like that. And partially it is guilt. It's guilt, it's manipulation. The other person really doesn't want to end the relationship. They're angry. They don't want to fix the relationship either. They just want this person to stay in a place of suffering forever. And it's because, they love them, they poured into them, but they hurt them. So there's this weird energy. So anything that this person is going to have, it's like they would expect you to conform, and so even though that there is a past life connection, that's all that it is. It's a past life connection, um, past life karmic connection, which means that there are family patterns that you have to clear because the person essentially isn't bringing anything. They're connected to someone else. Is there passion with you? Yes. Are they physically attracted to you? Yes. But all those are on a lower vibration. They're not going to bring anything else because, hey, there's a part of them that's still in that previous connection because they poured a lot of time and energy. They treat that person as a friend, they treat that person as a mother, they treat that person as everything except for what they really want to be, which is their partner. But it's again, nevertheless, they're codependent. So there's a part of this person that, like I said, has that seat reserved for that person. And so you have to say, well, are they going to do anything? No, the most that they would do is they would come in really fast and offer something, but this person's insecure. Person's insecure and they would give a little something, but the moment that you had an issue, they would withdraw because they're again giving time to somebody else, very dutiful to that person, which means it's again, they feel obligated. So they would come in for a good time, not a long time. The most and maybe for a long time do this, come in and out. It's again, this person doesn't want to sleep with 1,000 different people. They just don't get that from that connection anymore. And it's because they cheated, they lied, they did a lot of things to hurt that person. But for whatever reason, they still really care about that person. It's just can't, they ruin the relationship. They're not attracted anymore to that person. And see, when a relationship goes so fast and there's so much fire and so much passion in the beginning, and there's nothing else, well, it went cold. And so there was nothing else, but that person had invested and really fell in love with the person that they thought that this person was. So they invest a lot of time, a lot of energy, but they don't have the passion for that person anymore. But there's a weird guilt, and it's held together with through manipulation and guilt and pain, which is really a karmic contract. So again, being connected to this person, they would only be able to give so much. And that's what the karmic pretty much knows. That like, you want to cheat, go ahead. What are you going to give? Are you going to give a few breadcrumbs? So what? I don't sleep with you anyway, but you're not going to live happy. And this person says, I know I don't deserve to live happy, but I'm still gonna try and live happy anyway on my own and get my kicks off somewhere else. And this is how this dynamic plays out. And so they don't look at anybody, like any third party that comes into it, unfortunately, is like collateral from that toxic connection, because this person has absolutely nothing to offer, and the person that's connected will never let this person offer anything because they don't really want to let them go. They just don't want to give them anything either. It's just a weird, crazy, toxic connection, and unfortunately, like, this person has a lot of attraction to you. So when they have that, it can really feel like there's so much passion and that this is your person, when really it's a past life karmic mate. We say, why did you attract this person into your life? And we see the first card out is abandonment. We say the second card out is self-sabotage. Like you see, third card out is love. Turn the deck around. Let's see, maybe it'll be, let's see, innocence, frustration. So one, two, three, four, five, six, belittled. So we always look at the inner child wounds because, again, the karmic patterns that aren't healed in childhood are those fragmented pieces that continue to play out as the karmic themes within our life. So being with someone that, you know, that belittled you is emotional abuse. Being around somebody that, makes you feel as if you're unworthy because they're not really around for you ever. And that could be anytime you got sick, you dealt with it by yourself. Anytime that you needed something for school, you dealt with it by yourself. Anytime that there was a special occasion for you, they didn't celebrate it. So anytime that they were supposed to show up, they didn't. So psychologically, you were being told, you're not worth it. You're not worth it. It's like, well, I'm not going to take a day off from work. I'm not going to go visit this. I'm not going to say anything that you do really, I'm not going to really acknowledge it. So on a psychological level, you're being told again, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you don't, you don't, you're not getting that nurturing. And I say that because again, the innocence was robbed in childhood. When we're children, we think that our parents are, perfect. We think that our daddy is like, if we're a girl, is our first love. If we're a boy, our mommy is our first love. There's there's a caring, there's a nurturing, there's children need to feel that love from their parents. And so a lot of times it's not done purposely. If a parent works all the time and they're never around because they need to make money to pay for the house and the mortgage and other things, it's not that they don't love, it's that they have to work to get money. But to the child self, it's more than the parent has to go to work, because children tend to understand that is that when the parent comes home from work and they don't really want to interact with their child, they're not taking an interest in what's happening at school because hey, they're tired, they're exhausted, they don't want to really deal with it. There's a little bit of that energy along with, again, belittled, which is, oh, it's such a big thing what you're doing, or like making fun of, mocking, talking down is a form of bullying. And when a parent does that to a child, well, the children learn like how to interact and what their attachment style is from their parents first. So having parents that abandon you, well, this is why you attracted a person that's avoidant. They're avoidant. We know that because hey, they and we also know that they can't possibly give anything because they're connected to somebody else. So you have a person that's avoidant, you have someone that's set it up for betrayal, and this is all the same energies of how you grew up. Now, someone that's belittled is someone that's also usually shamed, being made fun of, made to feel, again, not good enough, not worthy of love. What will happen then is children then form self-sabotaging behaviorisms. And self-sabotaging behaviorisms is when we have a low self-esteem and we don't feel that we're worthy of it, of whatever it is, that it'll affect our money, just the same as it will reflect within our relationships. If we feel that we're not worthy, we don't have appropriate boundaries, we don't ask for things that we need. We can't ask for what we need, especially if someone's bullying us, they're emotionally manipulating us. And so there are patterns and behaviorisms that are formed when you're around parents that do that. It's the one way would be, again, overgiving, trying to buy love, overgiving, abandoning yourself, and thinking that if you give, that the person is going to copy and do the same thing for you. No, people treat you the way that you treat yourself. So again, self-sabotaging behavior would be giving too much time to somebody that doesn't have the right, you know, doesn't have the right credentials for you to actually do that. And somebody that would have the right credentials is just someone that's going to treat you nice, someone that's going to put you first the way that they're expecting you to put them first. They're not just going to take your energy. Someone that takes your energy and doesn't give anything back in return, they know what they're doing. They're sending a message, and the message is that I'm better than you, I'm more superior. You should just be happy that I'm allowing you to do it. Where it's, again, that's not a person that you want to be with. Again, it's the people that surround you that make you perceive certain things. So, your innocence was robbed at a young age when you were bullied, again, emotionally abused. But then we also see them not showing up for you. So that clearly sends a message. So life is frustrating because then we used to see that everything's hard. Everything's hard if you were bullied by a parent. Then you've been conditioned to believe that, it's not safe, that other people are going to harass you too. And so then you begin to look for things unconsciously, the tone of voice, words said, continuously like misunderstanding what someone says and taking it personally, almost like, does that mean that they don't like me? Does that mean that I did something wrong? Did that mean like when really you didn't do anything wrong. And you might not say it to the person, but you're internalizing it, where it's because someone made you feel that way at such a young age that you're like, don't not realizing that you're going into relationships and you're overcompensating for that, where now you're focusing too much on somebody else's needs, not your own. And unconsciously, you're teaching that person how to treat you, the person that you like, that you want them to treat you with kindness and to have equal give and take reciprocity, but you've already given like so much, where really relationships are something that happen over time. Trust is something that happens over time. So when you are balanced in your life and emotionally getting from other areas of life, well, then you're not waiting for anyone to do it and you're not giving too much. You can see, however, how much someone's giving you because you're fulfilled. And so you're basing on like how much to give on how they are to you, not on what you want them to do for you. Because again, when we don't grow up with that nurturing and that support, we tend to look for it outside of ourselves when really Spirit said you had to do it to heal it inside of you because of again being brought up by a parent that bullies you and that's not around for you. Well, you pretty much didn't grow up with parents. You were taught that love's conditional. Were taught that the world's not safe. You would be, get caught up. And it's not to say that this person doesn't play games. They played a lot of games. They're on a lower vibration. But if you're feeding them, they're going to do it more. When you cut the energy off, they change. When you don't have enough time to interact with them, you have no time to entertain it. Well, then guess what? They have to change if they want you in their life. So you're never having a conversation. Sometimes people make the mistake of wanting to talk to someone on a lower vibration about their behavior and they don't get the results that they want. And the reason why is because the person knows exactly what they do. They do what they do to maintain control. So again, and really they do what they do because they actually don't feel like they belong, because they are intimidated, because they are on a lower vibration. So it's like you wouldn't entertain it, but you can by being in the energy that you were in, actually this magical realism. Well, that sounds such a high vibration, it makes the person like surrender because no matter what they do, they're not going to get any attention. Really, so they'd either have to come in correct or don't come in at all. And that's really, I mean, you're in that energy now. You just attracted that person because it's there. It's that energy imprint is still there. You fully are able to change that imprint when you transmute the energy, and that's through these cards. We see what would you need to do to fully transmute that energy, and that's really well, first of all, understand that you have infinite possibilities. So to attract a person that abandoned you, and that they have emotional issues where they're emotionally not available, they have to heal certain things within themselves. We see that. Understand that Spirit says you have a lot of different opportunities. And so, you have to fulfill the promise to yourself that it's not just this person. If you're attracting just that person, it's that you're saying, well, there's nothing else. And Spirit says, no. Understand, people come into your life to teach you, and they can teach you without ruining your life. There's a way to actually flow with grace, which understand, I feel like you learned how to do that. It's like where it might have been your mother or your father that bel- belittled you, that bullied you, that made you not feel safe. Well, it would really rock your world. This person wasn't able to do it because you again were in a high vibration. So you were at peace, and I feel like it's to show how strong you are. And it's because it's all about you first of all, like being on your soul's path, like you're listening to the whisper of your own soul guiding you, aligning your actions with your values. So again, on that high vibration, uh, uh, you're able to be able to do that because you're co-creating and you're giving and receiving of love. So that means that you're displaying perseverance, that you're displaying resilience, that you're somebody that is like compassionate. It's like we are asked to integrate all those consciousness of Christ consciousness when you are manifesting and co-creating with the universe, because the universe is just the energy of unconditional love. And for you to mesh well, you have to be in alignment. That's happening. That makes you transcend all this lower energy. It doesn't matter. And you might say, well, what for? Well, the bigger picture is to really to like release the limiting beliefs that no longer serve you. Again, you grew up with family that belittled you, someone that abandoned you, made you feel unworthy, made you feel not good enough. So before you met this person, you were still walking from that level of consciousness, which is an illusion. And the illusion was created not by you, but by, again, that parent that raised you. So even though you had lived a lot, you still had that energy. And so here's this person holding on to that energy, it just was subconscious. So, and we know that until you actually would integrate these core beliefs. And so this person brought up those core beliefs. And that's what allowed you to gain the deep wisdom to, rise above that limiting perception to see really who you are. And that allowed you to really get the harmony within, to balance your body, mind, and spirit, to integrate the spiritual blockages. And that's really what you're doing when you're healing those spiritual wounds. You're taking those core beliefs that made that from an experience, so that made you feel inadequate, not good enough, not worthy, and you're seeing it, the same situation but differently. Your core beliefs change, your energy changes, and so that allows you to then be on your path, right, which is the road less traveled, but is the road that's most rewarding because it's you in alignment with your soul's path. And so that's really what Spirit's saying. It's like you're on your path already, but obviously it like this experience unfolded while you were on your path to teach you that, again, we don't change our environment, we change ourselves. And that's what this situation did. It allowed you to have awareness of the core beliefs that were holding you back, and then to integrate those spiritual beliefs. You were already doing it, but that allowed you to see a different outcome of your situation. And that's really that love is something that comes from within, that you can't change what other people do. You can change yourself, and that's exactly what you did. And once you did that, well, whether people want to or not, they have to deal with it. And we leave off with one more message, and that is the path to light. And that is understand everything that's like on your path is there to help you revert back to your original energy of unconditional love, because that's the energy that we're born with. That's the energy of the universe. So, and we have the universe inside of us. And when we are fully balanced, we are that energy. So, Spirit says, just make the conscious choice to move towards the light one step at a time. Transform your weaknesses into strengths by mastering your thoughts. Again, the core beliefs. That's what this was all about, integrating it, and to overcome obstacles with positivity and acceptance, which you came to the acceptance about this person. Develop your gifts and extend your light to every being unconditionally. And that's what you're doing. that's how your reading started. Magical realism is that you're co-creating with the universe through the signs and synchronicities that you're seeing it, that it's a path that unfolds while you're on it. It's a path that, like, again, you're holding to your core beliefs. And those core beliefs are I am a creator, I am worthy, I am. So, again, this very high vibration, and your actions are in alignment of that. But when we have spiritual blockages, they come up also. They're not always present, they get triggered by something or someone. So, with this, it was this person. So, they were actually really supposed to be in your life. And that's why there was so much chemistry and passion, because when we have that passion and that connection, it's because either we're supposed to be with that person and we're supposed to be in a relationship where we're continually learning from that person, or this person has just come in for a day or a season, not a lifetime, but just a day or a season to teach that lesson. And here it was, thank goodness you were able to avoid any negative consequences because you were already in that high vibration. But if you weren't, you would have gotten tricked, which is what this person wanted, because they were like, well, I feel all this connection. I think I can have, you know, I think I can be with you and be with the other person at the same time, without clothing, because I don't really know how this is going to work out. So they're not really being fair to anyone except for themselves, which is why that karmic hates them. We're calling them the karmic, but really, I think that they're just someone that, you know, wound up choosing somebody that's a jerk. I'm gonna leave that there. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.